What up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Leslie Smith, and today I'm going to talk about all of the things that I've been reading this week. We'll kick it off with all of the books that I completed or finished, starting with Kim Arnold's book called Tarot Made Easy. This isn't one I'm ever actually going to be finished with, I don't think. I really enjoyed my first time reading it. I wanted to read through all the material first, just familiarize myself with tarot, with the cards. Now I want to go back through, spend a little more time on all the tabbed areas that I've got in here, do a little more in-depth study, and incorporate some other reference materials in with it. The next book that I finished, I don't have a physical copy of yet. It's been on pre-order for over a year now, and that is The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones. For anyone watching who might be new to the channel, Stephen Graham Jones is one of my all-time favorite authors. He's an auto-buy author. I'm going to buy everything this man writes, period, end of sentence. Let's map this out together so you can see what my expectations were going into this final book of this trilogy. An all-time favorite author. 2 books of the trilogy I have already read and absolutely loved. I had very high expectations for The Angel of Indian Lake. Unfortunately for me, the final book did not meet those expectations. It's the weakest of the 3, in my opinion. The only thing this book got right for me is the ending. This is the most perfect and beautiful ending of this trilogy, of this type of story that I have ever read. I do reserve the right to change my mind, and here's why. The way that this book was written, it's written from the main character's perspective, Jay Daniels. We spend a lot of time in her head, her inner thoughts, a lot of monologuing, there's a lot of dialogue at the beginning, which makes me lean towards the audiobook being the best way to consume this novel. When that comes out, I am going to purchase the audiobook. I'm going to listen to it and see if that changes the reading experience, in my opinion, of this third and final book in the trilogy. Let's move into the books that I am still currently reading. I've been methodically making my way through Towers of Midnight and the Wheel of Time series. I'm about done. I have a feeling when I check in with y'all next Friday, I'm going to be reporting that I have finished this one. I have Finally, the last battle has begun. Oh my gosh. I should have added up all the pages it took to get to this last battle, which is what we have been working toward ever since page 1 in the first book of the series. It's only taken the majority of 14 books and several thousand pages, but we are finally there, y'all. In addition to Towers of Midnight, I am working on Dreams of Dust by Lillian Crow. This is the first book in the Will of the Wayfinder series. This is a reread for me. I read this one in 2022, I believe, for the first time. It was a 5-star read for me. Book 3 in this series is about to come out, so I'm slowly rereading book 1. I don't do this because I have a YouTube channel. I have always been one of those readers that anytime a new book in the series is coming out, I want to go back and reread all of the books before it. I just like having all of the information fresh. It gives me the opportunity to pick up on things I might have missed the first time I read the book, form new conspiracy theories, remind myself of previous conspiracy theories. It's just a good time. I loved the book. I am a serial rereader. I'm always rereading. I mean, my goodness, Towers of Midnight I have reread I don't even know how many times. I still find new things to love. I actually have a really good example of this from a section that I read in Dreams of Dust yesterday afternoon. Our group of characters, a band of adventurers, are investigating the disappearance of a whole group of people. And they meet this woman in the forest who is described as an owl-like woman. She's feathered. She belongs to a race of people called the Tyloshi. And she's bargaining with this group. She will only give information in exchange for information, and that is done by each one ask each other a question as a form of payment. Our adventurers have more questions they need to ask her, but she is not asking them any more questions to keep the exchange going, and our wayfinder Pathfinder, Thaniel, just blurts out that he has a map. That's his job. He's a cartographer. He is taking note of the land and sketching out a map as he goes. And he's like, I have a map. Do you want to see where I come from? And she was very interested in this. And I instantly thought to myself, Lillian Crow wrote that for her fantasy readers, because what do fantasy readers always want in their books? A map. So very much enjoying my reread of this one. Like I said, that one was a 5-star read the first time I read it. I don't expect to not have a good time with it. That brings us to what's next. What am I going to pick off my March TBR to read next? Well, the library answered one of those for me. My hold for Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers has finally come in. I got hold of the audiobook, and if I thought I was going to ignore it for a few days, the next day the library let me know that the Kindle version was also available for me to check out, so I can immersion read those. So I'm going to read that one next so I can get those returned back to the library to the next person in line. I've waited in line for months, so I don't want to put that off anymore. I want to read it while I got it. I also have an advanced reader copy for a book on NetGalley that I requested that the review is due before the end of the month. That is Kate Wiley's new release called The Killer's Daughter, which is exactly why I clicked on it. I saw that title and I thought, is this a serial killer book? It is. Apparently there was this serial killer that was very notorious that was from the Bay Area. He has a daughter who has become an investigator, an officer of some type. I think he gets out of jail or something. I don't rightly remember. It's been a while since I read the description from when I got the approval. I'm not going to reread the description. I'm just going to go in blind, but that one's due before the end of the month. I want to say the date it comes out is March 25th. If the author's name does not sound familiar to you, she writes under 2 or 3 other pen names as well. She's got several books out. I'm not actually familiar with any of her pen names. This is my first time reading anything she's written, so I'm excited to check that one out. And then I still have Galaxy of Thorns, Rise of the Empress that is on the list. That is the first one I'm going to read once I get these 2 deadline books done. And that's going to be it for this week. I hope you all are having a wonderful start to your day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend planned, and I will catch you in the next one.